Okay, we're back at the fence line again. I have a friendly wasp about a foot away from me on the tripod, so we'll see how long that lasts. You might see me waving in a minute. Okay, so we're at already episode 5 of 5 minutes from the fence line, and we're continuing our topic on studying and seeking the truth. So I want to go over something that I call the big no-no. This is something you don't ever want to say to somebody who has found the truth, or maybe somebody who's just still looking for the truth. If people would just read their Bibles, they would get it. They would understand. All right, I'm going to dissect that and show you the different things wrong with that statement. First of all, that's probably coming from the wrong spirit. That's probably coming from some kind of spirit of pride or something. If you say that to someone, you're not only going to hurt their feelings, they're going to think you're talking down to them, like they did something wrong. Remember, the people that are searching for the truth, they're in the great delusion. They've got a veil over their eyes. They have a spiritual veil over their eyes. It wouldn't matter if they read the Bible 10 hours a day. They're not going to get it. That veil has got to be lifted. So we need to back up several steps before we say, just read the Bible, okay? So first of all, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So the first thing that these people are going to need to do is turn to the Lord. This could be through conviction, a tragedy. God's trying to soften their heart so they'll be obedient. Okay? When he knows that your heart's softened and that you're going to be obedient, then the veil might be lifted. All right? Or it's going to start to lift. Then the person needs to ask for the Holy Spirit. That's when my eyes open, when I figure the Sabbath out. And I ask for the Holy Spirit. Everybody says, I heard something click. Something seemed like it clicked. I think that was the veil lifting. Then you can really use your discernment, because it's kind of like at a high level. You can start recognizing the different lies and deceptions that you were taught. The most important thing, if you're trying to find the truth, or even if you've already found the truth and you're still learning, because you should always be learning, you've got to be humble like a child. You've got to be teachable. You have to be willing, and you have to have the desire for truth. Even though I have a lot of degrees, I still have to be humble as a child, and I am. I don't know everything. If you're talking with somebody and they know everything, then you're probably going to have a hard time getting through to them. That means they got some pride going on there. Okay? Now, let's go back to our statement again. If people would just, that means only. That word just implies a limitation or restriction, a single quantity. That means they're saying, if you just do that one thing, that you figure it out. Is that true? Do you just want to read the Bible and do nothing else? What about praying for the Holy Spirit each time to give you understanding? What about getting into a Bible study and meeting some other people that are Christians? What about finding some online pastors or some mentors? Maybe finding a local church, the Remnant Church, which we'll get to eventually. What about some supplemental books and things like that to read? Because I have started reading. I don't just get everything off the internet. So the word just implies one thing. That's wrong. You do more than just read the Bible. Okay? So those are just some things that are kind of wrong with that statement. And another thing too is, before you read the Bible, even if you already know the truth and you're maybe a lifelong person who's known the truth for a long time, you might be part of the Remnant Church even, we're supposed to always pray for the Holy Spirit each time you start reading the Bible to help you understand it, okay? The other thing is, we're supposed to be reading out loud. That helps you to also understand it. What else can you be doing? Well, let's go back to the sentence. It says, just, we already disproved that. It's more than just one thing. Let's talk about the word read. Are we going to read the Bible, or are we going to study the Bible? There's a big difference. If you read the Bible like a magazine, that's not really digging deep into it. You want to be taking notes, getting into a Bible study, whether it's live or online, getting a mentor. Okay? You want to study like the Bereans did. They were considered of noble character because they really dove into a topic. So ask yourself some questions. Do I have pride? Are we saying the wrong thing? Is it a loving statement saying something like, if people would just study or read their Bibles, they would get it? I think we're missing a couple steps there. Could we say it better? How can our prayers become more effective? Maybe we should instead pray that people would fall on the rock and become humble and teachable and then seek the Bible. Okay? I hope you got a lot of today's lesson. Remember the one big no-no. This is Heather signing off. I want to see your comments now under the videos. Some first names and where you're from. I know there's people out there. I'd love to get to meet you. All right? See you next time at the Fenceline.